How's it going, New World? Sethphir here, and today we are going to bring you my first attempt at clearing the Mutation 1 dungeon. This is the first difficulty level that all players will have access to at the beginning of the game when this sort of comes out. So what we're looking at here, I grabbed my friend, a tank, and a damage dealer, and we picked up two other people that happen to be on the PTR at the moment. So we kind of went into this dungeon half pre-made, half pug, just to give it a good idea of what's going on in this situation. As we move up into the first boss encounter room, you can see a lot of interesting things on the screen, like this point counter at the top, and there's also a timer that's going to give you a display on what you're looking like in terms of clearing the dungeon. So if you notice, my speed is going a little bit fast here. I did speed this up to 3 times because these dungeons do tend to take about 30 minutes to clear, and as much as a 30-minute long video might bore some people to death, we went ahead and sped it up to about 10 minutes cycle, so that way you guys can kind of see everything that needs to be seen and get a good idea on some of the mechanics and things within the dungeon. So as you can see, I'm getting several purple items even within the first room, and we're raking up a large amount of points at the top here. So the way the system works currently is there is a 6 times multiplier for completing various tasks. Some of those include like killing all the named monsters in an instance, killing a certain threshold of monsters, completing the dungeon on time, which the time limit has been 40 minutes for every mutation level so far, and there's a few other different factors like not wiping in a boss encounter or the amount of times you have died total in the instance. So all of these will give you a multiplier, and then every enemy kill seems to give you about 40 points, give or take the enemy type, and boss kills give somewhere between 500 and 1,000. So that's going to be the scoring system. There is a bronze, silver, and gold rank. Bronze, I think, is literally just anything below 20,000. 20,000 will put you in the silver category, and getting 40,000 points will put you in the gold category. You need at least the silver category ranking to advance to the next level, so that's kind of be what we're looking through here. And at first I was doing a couple of these and I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a mutated guide, but I don't think I have enough information yet to do so, so I'm gonna keep practicing and pushing the mutated levels. Currently I'm on mutation level 8, so we're pushing up in there and getting a little bit farther as we go along, and the mutation levels are ranked in terms of normal, intermediate, hard, and then elite. And this is the first one, this rank 1, this is the normal version, right? So we'll go ahead and do this one as sort of a commentary, and then we will show you an intermediate level version, as well as a hard, and then finally elite later on once we get into it. So the normal version comes with a few factors. It is going to come with this weird purple explosion that you see beneath my feet on this week, which this week has the Eternal series, which is a void themed series. The purple explosion comes from this debuff called Paranoia. And Paranoia means whenever you hit a monster 4 times within a certain window, you're going to get this stacking debuff on you, and once you reach the 4th stack, you're going to cause an explosion at your feet that you can dodge out of. You can also just keep walking if you're like a ranged character and shooting, and it won't be there, but if you're standing still, you will get caught in this explosion. So it kind of reminds me of like Volcanic and Mythic Dungeons and WoW, and a couple other mechanics from other games, but it's pretty interesting to look at. The monsters have been powered up with things like Oblivion, which is a buff that whenever they hit you, they'll put a nasty damage over time effect on you that's going to leech life and do extra damage equal to a portion of whatever it was they just hit you with, and a few other things like Vampirism, increasing the life stealing of the monster, and they're going to get more void resistance, and a portion of all their damage is going to be converted to void. So you think it's all themed around a element, right? There are other elements in the future. We haven't seen them yet on the PTR, but we will get to them and test them and let you know what it is. But for now, Void is the one we're dealing with, and that is the Eternal series. So we've just completed the first, I guess, real boss, so to say. We beat a few named enemies along the way, and now we are approaching the docks of this like sort of barrel timed event. You have to sit here and defend this barrel, and oh man, I hate defense missions in games. I just think of like Genshin Impact, where you had to defend the stupid little pylon crystal thing when everyone's just dying or killing it and dive bombing it. Ugh, these things are a nightmare, but it does present a challenge. It's quite interesting. There's definitely a lot going on in a lot of these dungeons, and for Mutation 1, the difficulty level that I got from the vibe of it was roughly like, okay, it's a little bit harder than the normal, like what a normal 60 dungeon would be. But that being said, I think that the Dynasty Shipyard is actually a very difficult dungeon in terms of mechanics from all of the other dungeons within the game. So I'm interested to see how a Lazarus Instrumentality and Garden of Genesis would play out, because I feel like they're a bit easier, because this was supposed to be a 50 dungeon originally, right? But they just bumped all the enemies up, and now you kind of have these interesting mechanics, especially from the last boss and some of the other bosses within here that are kind of terrifying. So it is good news though, because that means that the guides in the past that I've done for like Dynasty Shipyard and stuff will be really useful once again, and I think I will have to definitely make a new guide to go ahead and update those based on the fact that these guys are level 60 plus now, and they're going to be hitting harder. So that's going to change a few things, as well as the mutation factors within the dungeon. So there's going to be a lot of guides coming in the future with this content. So first we're going to start off with that series of normal, intermediate, hard, and then elite, and show you what each difficulty version it looks like, so that you can get a feel for yourself, like, oh, okay, like, you know, these ones aren't so bad, but here's where it really starts to get hard, and this is when I might need to worry about those things. So all of that stuff will kind of come into play here, so you'll get to see a lot of that. But this is one of these. This is the big boss encounter here, I guess, after the Shrine Master guy. And Isabella is one of the main enemies, I believe, within the game. Supposed to be, like, lore-wise. This is kind of her, like, introduction and disappearance fight, you know? So she has some interesting things to say, and I'm hoping that we'll see a lot more from her in the future. She is a very interesting character with a nice, unique moveset, but I definitely enjoy this boss encounter, and actually a lot of the Dynasty Shipyard enemies are very fun to play against and deal with, because these are some of the times that I remember when I was leveling up and I was like, oh man, I really like this boss, like this was really fun. I wish this was like, you know, a level 60 version. Well, here it is. Now it's on that thing. So I hope that in the future we can see things like Amarine Dungeon return, the Starstone Barrows, and all these stuff in a level 60 version, because there are many really fun dungeons within the game. They're just kind of like in that low level content area. So if we were to bump those up, it would definitely be a blast. So I could see everyone enjoying that very thoroughly. So I do see a lot of talk coming in right now from people like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to clear the mutation dungeon, it's too hard, and it's 625 gear score, and it's so scary, and what's going to happen, all my gears. It's not like that, guys. It's really just you go into the Mutation 1 dungeon, it's slightly harder than what you normally see in a dungeon, and you're going to get so many purples, and by that logic, you're going to get a lot of expertise upgrades on top of that, because the amount of expertise upgrades you should see will be very high. These purples are like level 590s, 599s, 600s even. Like even on this first run, our tank got like 3 to 4 legendaries, so you're going to get tons of gear that you can work with, and if you don't have the expertise level to get those 600 gear score pieces yet, you will catch up very fast, because everything is dropping something, right? Just constant drops, and these mobs are giving very generous rewards, like lots of gold for each boss kill, and every time you get a drop, there's like 3 to 4 purples in there, as you can see on the screen. Many good named items, and the drop rate is just like significantly higher, right? So the odds of you being able to upgrade your expertise and find a good item is going to be a lot better than it was before, so it's going to be pretty interesting to see that change coming in. So I think it's going to be very healthy for the game, and I think it will be a good place to go if you want to increase your score and challenge yourself a little bit further than what the previous normal dungeons are. That being said, it does get a lot harder as the ranks go up, but it's a progression scaling system, right? You're going to use these umbral shards that you're going to get as currency from the dungeon that you're going to be able to upgrade your gear level or your expertise level and the level of your 600 gear all the way up to 625. And from what I've seen so far, none of the 600 gear, or none of the gears dropping above 600, you're just dropping at 600, and then you use your umbral shards to upgrade it. So doing these runs is going to give you gains constantly regardless of the mutation level that you're doing it on, so you're going to be able to clear them very easily. And as you can see here, we even lost a member of our party right at the start, but we're able to clear this boss. And I think we lose a second member of our party, and this is mutation 1, right? So we're practically 3-manning this at the towards the end here. So it's not that scary, it's not that hard. It does start to get very challenging when you get to the intermediate setting. It will test you. It will make you use trophies. It will make you use consumables. It will make you learn how to play the game in a party sense. Like, you're going to need to bring the right composition with armor rends and the right damage mix up. You can't have all melee because you're going to get punished for having so many melee people in the same spot. You're going to have a thought out plan, right, coming into this dungeon, not just like, well, I'll just take whoever and we'll just breeze through it while drinking beers. And it's gonna be like, hey, okay, you need to pay attention to this mechanic and dodge it or you will die. And that is the thing coming into this dungeon, is that it's finally enforcing the mechanics, and that's the really cool part to see here. As you can see, we are down to 3 members now, but people that are able to do these mechanics and truck along here will still be able to perform the boss fight or the fight in general. And in this dungeon, we did manage to get the gold rank. I accidentally skip over it at the end, so sorry about that in advance, because I didn't know it was tied to the victory screen, because this was my first time in here. But we did manage to get gold ranking, which was enough points to get us past to the first mutation and into the second mutation. But all in all, we had a great time. It was a blast. We gained a lot of valuable items, in my opinion. It was really decent stuff. I even found a legendary spear. Several other people found multiple legendaries, so there was quite a lot of gain to be found in this dungeon. But anyways, this was a mutated 1 beginner, or the normal level clear. So this is going to be what you're going to expect to see when you first start on week 1 when this is released. And it's definitely going to be something worth your time and entertaining. There are challenges ahead all the way up to rank 10 difficulty, and it is getting really hard. Let me tell you, I'm on 7, which is the hard mode now, and it is so difficult. 7 or 8, I can't remember. I think it was 8. It is so difficult to get past these things. We're trying to, squeeze our gear score up every bit we can and all that good stuff. But we're enjoying the challenge, we're enjoying the fun, and it's definitely breathing an end-game life within the game, which is fantastic to see. All right, that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe, like, and hit the bell down below. There is a join button if you're interested in becoming a member today, and we also have a Discord and social media if you're interested in following us on there. Thanks for your time, and we will catch you in the next video.